This week on Two Guys, Two Dogs, Four Wheels, we take a look at some of the new models from Auto Trail and Swift, and we also have a look at the used market to see how that is faring in a more budget priced area. And also, there are some industry changes with more moves and shakes with motorhome dealers. Welcome back to the channel, and this week we are going to give you another market update. There is a big influx of motorhomes at this range, and I'm really interested to see what you can get for your money. Now, word of caution here, I still think motorhome prices in the second-hand market are all over the place, and some dealers are still asking some quite punchy prices for what are now aging motorhomes. And by that, I mean a good 10, 12, 14 years old, still demanding money that newer models are up for sale for. The variability is still significant. So we'll have a little look at that and explore that as we look at some of the vehicles that are on offer, and we'll see what you could get in this price point. Now, before we get into having a look at the market, let's have a look at some of the industry news. Well, it continues to have some moves and shakes, and the latest is up in Yorkshire, over in West Yorkshire, where Peter Roberts Caravans and Motorhomes have taken on a second site. Now, some of you may know of Richard Baldwin's, which is based near Halifax. Now, the owners of this company have decided to take retirement, and Peter Roberts have decided that they are going to take this on as a second site. So we've now got another example of dealerships expanding and operating out of more than one location, which seems to be a bit of a trend across the UK right now, as some dealers have been facing challenges and difficulties and weathering the storm, in effect, of the variability in the market. So the second site will be out of Halifax. Peter Roberts Caravans and Motorhomes have now announced this publicly, and they are really welcoming new customers to this second site. So we'll see what happens as they take on this new location, and whether this again provides a good base for customers, or whether this starts to reduce the market competition and shopping around that customers can do. I'm still to be convinced, because I've got a feeling that motorhome dealers are starting to follow the pattern of many car dealerships over the last few years, where you have large companies owning multi-sites, which in effect does reduce competition and sadly often means we lose the small guys in the business. So we'll see what happens with Peter Roberts, but if you're from that neck of the woods, some big news there and a big change in the dealerships in Yorkshire. Now, the other industry news is the diversification in Auto Trail. Now, they have decided to expand the offering on their XL range, all but one model, which I think is the S, where they're now offering a pop-top version on each of those models that they have in the XL range. Now, this is really interesting because the dimensions of the XL vehicles kind of sit within the footprint of one of the large transit vans in effect. So in terms of customers wanting a vehicle and an alternative to, say, a Swift Trekker, this could either prove a very smart or a disastrous move for Auto Trail. It could be very smart because it can offer the small compact motorhome feel with the additionality of a pop-top, which might attract some customers over the funkiness and ruggedness of what you know I like in the Swift Trekker. So a market they want to explore. Clearly there is demand for these pop-top vehicles. Is this a unique combination? I think so. I think this is probably one of the first compacts, coach-built motorhomes we've seen in this arrangement. And I will be dead keen to see one of these as soon as they hit the dealer forecourts and do some reviews on these to see what they really look like and whether the appetite for them is there. So if you've not seen them yet, they are out there. You can find them online. You can find them on Auto Trail. Go and have a look at the new pop-top XL range from Auto Trail. Now, the other bit of news that's interesting me is the offering from Swift. Now, Swift seem to be taking a head-on approach to challenging some of the vehicles that have come out of Bailey. Now, as you know, Bailey in their Adamo range have brought out the smaller 60-2, which is their very, very compact motorhome with the drop-down bed and a very small washroom at the back. Now, the beauty of this is it's a 6-metre van that fits within a normal parking space in effect, so it makes it very manoeuvrable, very easy to drive, and as a starter motorhome for somebody, is a good offering. So what Swift are offering in their Voyager range is the Voyager 505, which is a very compact vehicle that does go head-to-head, if you like, with that Bailey. And they've also got the Voyager 510, which is just a slightly elongated version of the same vehicle. Very similar layout, slightly larger lounge on one with a slightly larger washroom. But in effect, 2 new compact vehicles from Swift, and I'll drop a little bit of information of those in here for you. So it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up and how they fare in the market against the Bailey, which could be an interesting space. So what can £40,000 buy you on the dealer forecourts right now? At this price point then, we are now starting to see some newer vehicles like this 2017 Bailey Approach Advance 615. It's a 2017 at 14,500 miles with a lovely rear lounge setup, reversing camera and awning attached at 39,995 is a great little buy from Croyland Leisure. They also have a nice Swift Edge 464. This is an ex-rental, and it is a great family layout, this one, at 40,999. It's done just over 30,000 miles, but this is a 2021, so an absolute great buy for a cracking basic motorhome that would suit either a family or starters into the market. Now we are still at less than 10 years old over at Pioneer Caravans near Peterborough. They've got this Eldis Impression 175 at, again, 39,995. It comes with a bike rack, camera for reversing. Again, this one is in good condition and is sitting at just under 22,000 miles. So a superb motorhome there. Now, if we flip over to Highbridge, we can get into a 2017 Auto Trail Tribute. This is the 736 model. It's a spacious rear lounge again, reversing camera, tow bar all attached. As I say, sitting on the 2017 with 12,000 miles can be yours for 39,995. So we're now starting to see vehicles up to sort of 6 or 7 years old stepping into this price point. This Auto Trail Frontier Mohawk from Spinney. This is a 2013 at 39,995. Sitting on a bigger mileage at just over 59,000 miles, but this does come with lots of extras, including the reversing camera, awning, and is in superb condition for its age. Next up, also from Spinney, is this lovely Swift Bessacar High Style. This is the 462. It's 41,995, and this is done just under 13,000 miles. Again, comes with reversing camera, awning, and a nice rear lounge, and is in great condition for its age. And then over in Choose Leisure, we're now on a 2016. There's a great offering here with a roller team Auto Roller 695. Awning, rear view camera attached, just under 19,000 miles, and this again can be had for 39,995. I just want to highlight something about quality. What I have seen is an interesting mix of what is sitting out there, and some dealers have got a mix of motorhomes that aren't shifting but aren't of the greatest quality. I've sat in a few over the last week where the quality of them is quite poor, and what I mean by that is they're a little bit unloved, they're a little bit tatty, they've not been made market ready in my view, and the most alarming bit of that for me is that some of them are still overpriced. I sat on one dealer forecourt where they had a 2013 Auto Trail. From memory, I think it was one of the Amalas. It was a typical layout with a dinette lounge at the front. There was a bed arrangement at the back. It had done decent mileage, but it smelt of cigarettes. Trim was missing, broken parts. And they were still asking almost £50,000 for something that really I wouldn't touch it. So if you are out there, word of caution, really look closely at what you are buying, because there is a quantity of vehicles out there now that you can choose from, so you can be really picky about the quality of what you do end up buying if you are buying used. So what you can see there is that there is some levelling out in the vehicles that are available in that up to 10 years old space. I'd say in the 5 to 10 years old space. However, you have got to do your searching out still. And I've said this in a few of my videos now, that you've got to do your research and research some more. Because one of the things I've found with getting on some forecourts over this half-term break has been that variability in pricing. There is some strong money being asked for some reasonably older motorhomes, which I think is a sign that some dealers are sitting on stock that they've probably paid, I don't know, perhaps too much for as part exchanges in the boom days, and they're sitting on the stock with a reluctance to reduce. Now, the experience I've had, and you may have had something different, so please drop your thoughts in the comments below, but I'm seeing it with some of the bigger dealers that have got quite an excess of stock in their forecourts and showrooms, where there is a reluctance to bring those prices down, but also they're being a bit tight on what they're offering for part exchanges if you were looking at a newer one. So I've had those conversations, and that's probably a double whammy really, in that they're sitting on all this stock that they can't shift on the used side, and therefore they don't want any more really. So there's a bit of lowballing, if you like, on part exchange prices when you talk to them about what you might be offered. So that's an interesting space in some of the bigger dealerships, but it's also applied to some smaller ones, but not all. I think it's fair to say that the market does seem to be quite busy still, particularly with some of the new and the stuff that's perhaps up to 5 years old. Prices still seem quite buoyant. They seem to be sitting at a quite reasonably decent price point. So again, you've got to do your research with what you want, but I think it's encouraging to see now that there is some normality coming back down in that mid-market, if you like, of stuff between 5 and 10 years old. I'm not saying it's all the way there. I think it probably still has a little way to go, but I think we've also got to remember that the recent years have passed quite quickly since that initial lockdown in 2020, in that there has been some inflation. Prices generally across the board for everything have risen, and maybe we do need to bear that in mind a little bit too. Again, I'd welcome your thoughts, but I think that is reflected in price tags as well as the shift in the market that we've seen. So I hope that little glance in to what is available for you in the market at the minute, a good mix of caravans. That's because I've been looking at some caravans. There's a mix of family units, couples units in the motorhomes that are available there, and that's why I've given you a little selection of what you can get for around that £40,000 mark. So if you are out there looking, happy hunting. Okay, I will see you again very soon. I've got a couple more videos that are in production, if you like, and I'll be getting those out over the next week or so. And I look forward to you joining us once again. Take care.